Hi, welcome to Caribou Country Lifestyle. My name is Cheryl. Today I'm out here planting my sweet potatoes. Last weekend we put out this landscape fabric. So what I've done so far is I've cut X's into the spots where I want to plant the sweet potatoes. I actually had a dozen and 4 of them ended up rotting in the water because I had it in there. Either it was I had it in there too long or I wasn't changing the water often enough. It was probably more the latter than having it in there too long. I probably needed to change the water because it was getting pretty stinky. So I still have other sweet potato slips that are growing off of my sweet potatoes in the house. So I'm just going to keep letting them grow a few more slips, and I'm gonna plant these 8, and then I've still got some room that once I get 4 more on there, then I will add those slips to in here as well. I'm just going to grab my dibble and then I'm just going to push a hole in here and I will plant the slip. And there's one of them, and then I'll just bring the dirt back around it. We'll just poke the holes into all of these, get that set up, and then all I have to do is drop the slips right into the hole. And I've never done this before, so here's hoping that it works out. But in the article that I copied this information from, it says it needs 120 days of hot weather. So this was the best thing I could think of that would provide it with hot weather. This was my very first slip that I had. I should dig down a little bit more for this one. It got huge before I got it into a jar of water. And I've spaced these out on a diagonal, and they are about a foot apart. And then I'm just bringing the dirt up, less the pine cone, bringing the dirt up around it, and there we go. We have the sweet potato slips planted. Now we're going to move on, and I'm going to plant some of my seed potatoes that I had left over from my potatoes. These are Christina potato, and you should have seen the sprouts on these potatoes. They were like over a foot long, but I was checking out Mr. Google Pants, and it said that you could cut back those sprouts to 1 inch. Do not rip them right off, but cut the sprouts down to about 1 inch from the potato, and you can still plant those potatoes. So I have 19 potatoes, and I'm not going to cut them. I'm just going to make some pretty good size holes. Some of the potatoes, I was using them for baked potatoes for my son because we're not eating potatoes. And the reason why I'm planting these potatoes is I will give them to my kids because they all still eat potatoes. They love potatoes. Like, I love potatoes. They are so good. But with being on this program, we're not eating regular potatoes, just sweet potatoes and yams. So I'm going to make the holes for these potatoes. So I didn't quite have enough room for 19, but I will be able to plant 17 of the potatoes. So I just did a quick hole with a dibble, and then because the dirt is fairly dry, I have to dig down a bit to get them in the hole. So I'm just lifting the dirt up and placing them in the hole. Pretty easy peasy. And then I will have to water all of this, which is easy enough. I have all my hoses and everything hooked up. That one didn't have any sprouts on it, so I don't know what happened there. Okay, so there we go. We have sweet potatoes at that end, Christina potatoes planted at this end. So I ended up watering everything, all my beds up at the top here. I did water my sweet potatoes down below and my potatoes that I just planted. And then I thought we'd have a little look at what's been popping up out of the garden. I have a few things that have sprouted, so super excited about that. And we'll just take a look at what's going on. Here are my plants that I have. So on this side, that is the stone hedge cabbage in the back. In front of that, those are the pickling cucumbers. I ended up giving them a little bit of water too, and they should pick up. Behind them, that's that butternut squash. It's an early butternut squash. In the back, those are amazing white cauliflowers. And then these are the Walla Walla onions. These are the Fortress onions. These are my leeks. These are the Prince onions, Ambition shallots, and then these are the leeks that I bought. In this little row here, these are my Hakiri salad turnips. I have quite a few little sprouts coming up there. Once they get a little bit bigger, then I will thin out this row. In the back corner, I have my sparkler tip radishes. There's a couple of little sprouts there. These are the early scarlet. I see a sprout there. And then in the back, that's the French breakfast, and I have a few sprouts there. So I just like to keep these beds well watered until things start growing. And on this side, the only thing I have are the cherry bell radishes coming up in this row. I just have a small little row. It's just over a foot. And I'll have to thin those out when they get a little bit bigger. Over to this bed, this is the Chinese choy choy. And that's coming up quite thick. So definitely going to have to thin that out as well. And there's my garlic. In this row here on this bed, I have the purple Vienna kohlrabi is starting to come up. It's just starting to sprout. And what I'll do is once it's about an inch tall, then I'll thin out those sprouts to about 4 inches apart. On this side, I have my arugula has started to sprout, and I did thin this out, but other seeds are popping up, so I'll have to go through it and thin it out again. over on this one. The only thing I have going on, this was that Chinese daikon radish, and it has started to sprout as well. Then of course we have the pretty bleeding heart, and those are the lilies in front here. These are volunteer borage, and I usually just leave 2 to grow, and then they reseed themselves. They just drop seeds in the ground, and then next year we'll do the exact same thing. The flat leaf parsley, my carnations, another lily. In the center is the monkshood, and then these pretty tulips. If we come over here, I ended up picking up this clematis, and this is a Villa de Lion. I had this clematis at a previous house that we lived at, and the deer never ever bothered it, and it bloomed profusely. So I ended up picking this up, and in hopes that I will have the same outcome, that the deer won't want to have nothing to do with it. This clematis, I bought this last year, and if I grab that, this is a sapphire indigo. That picture fell off, but that's what it's going to look like. So that'll be pretty. I just tuck it in behind here. So really the only thing else I'm going to be doing out in the garden wise is I am going to be setting up my table down in the dog's kennel, and I will start bringing out my plants tomorrow and hardening them off, and I think next weekend then I will be ready to start planting some plants out in the garden. So that's exciting. Plant my flowers. My husband ended up getting me a load of dirt, and we actually got it from his work. We just borrowed a friend's dump trailer, picked up the load of dirt, dropped that off in the back over there, and then what I'll do is I'll take a wheelbarrow of compost, and when I'm doing up my pots and I'm planting either my tomatoes or my peppers or my flowers, I'm just going to do like a scoop of dirt and then a scoop of compost, and just until I fill the pot up, and then that will be great for those plants in those pots. I did start my sunflowers, the seeds. I started them in the house. So I have, I think I have 4 varieties of sunflowers that I have started, and I also started some of the morning glories and some nasturtiums, and everything has sprouted except for one morning glory, and I think the seeds are pretty old, and that's probably why they haven't sprouted. So I have, those have sprouted, so it won't take long, and then I'll have them planted out here in the garden too. So that's really all I have going on for today. Oh, yes. Okay, after we got the load of dirt, then we came back, dumped it off, then we went back and got another load of, it's called hog, and that is like a very chunky bark mulch. And that's what we put around in all the paths of all of our beds. And also we have it over in the berry section as well. And so we picked up a load of that, and we just have it dumped in our driveway, and we'll start working on that. What we want to do is we want to top up some of the pathways, because some of them are getting pretty thin, especially down below in those first 2 paths. The first 2 long beds, we did up those first, and then we did the 3rd bed later. Well, those first 2 rows, that was first 2 long beds, those pathways are getting really quite sparse as far as the mulch goes. So we want to add some fresh stuff and put that over that. So we're going to be working on that, and I'm hoping to mow the lawn today. So anyways, thanks for joining me. I hope you like this video. If you like the video, put a like in there, and if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.